Seller tip number 3. Do your homework. Before taking your property off the market for a buyer who isn't able to purchase, your realtor is in a position to confirm buyer qualifications by confirming the buyer's lendability status and/or availability of funds, such as a bank statement with names intact but account numbers redacted. Most well-written offers also include a pre-approval letter for the stated purchase price. Expert realtors representing a seller will routinely check with a buyer's lender prior to suggesting their home seller client accept any offer. Buyer tip number 4. Write a strong offer. Don't insult with a lowball offer and expect a seller entertaining multiple offers to somehow treat you favorably. If you know another offer is being made on a house you want, understand that single fact alone is evidence the market is favorable to the property. As a result, that house you want is therefore probably not overpriced and may even be underpriced. Still not convinced? Then go back to buyer tip number 1 and have your realtor review comparable home sales for the neighborhood. Cash talks. If you're able to write a cash offer and the offered price is within their acceptable range, this can present a seller with a serious reason to want to work with you to the exclusion of other buyers. That's because a lender's appraisal is then not required, thus providing more assurance of one less potential problem. Closing timeframes also tend to be shorter in cash transactions. The buyer's kick yourself question. If you're a buyer and your realtor has provided you with solid comparable home sale information to help determine what the house you like is worth, that may be enough to calm your fears. But if you end up making an offer and don't get the house by losing out to another competing buyer, once the dust has settled, you may kick yourself for not sufficiently raising the stakes. So after reviewing those comparable home sales, but before you even begin to write an offer, consider at what price would you regret or kick yourself for not getting the house you want. That could help to clarify how much the home is truly worth to you. Buyer tip number 4. Consider sweetening your offer. If you've already written what you thought was your best offer, then wake in the middle of the night fearful of losing out, consider sweetening your offer. This can be done one of several ways, and there isn't any one-size-fits-all answer, so discuss such options with your realtor. One way is to simply raise your offered price. Another is to make your earnest money deposit non-refundable. This sometimes has the effect of convincing sellers that even if you back out, they'll receive your earnest money deposit, thereby compensating them for having their hot home off the market while they missed out on those other possible buyer opportunities. The escalation clause. Another option is to use what's known as an escalation clause, whereby your offer automatically raises above the otherwise best competing offer by a predetermined amount, usually with a maximum amount written in. For example, your escalation clause may state that you're willing to beat any other qualified offer by $3,500, up to the maximum home price of, say, $650,000. In this example, if your offer was initially beaten by another buyer, your offer automatically escalates $3,500 above theirs as long as it does not exceed $650,000. Other factors are typically involved, such as deducting from the competing offer any non-price specific factors like seller-paid closing costs, so a true offered price is used, not an inflated one. Seller tip number 4. Look beyond price. While price can certainly be a key factor, if you're considering multiple offers on your home, understand that other issues may be very important too. Let's look at just a few. Likelihood of closing. A buyer with a 50% down payment is considered a better risk for you to take your home off the market for than a buyer barely able to scrape together a down payment. That's because lenders tend to be more forgiving with stronger buyers. That means if the appraisal comes in a bit low, unlike with a weaker buyer, it's not necessarily a death knell for the transaction with a stronger buyer. And if the stronger buyer's home inspection reveals more trouble than was expected, depending on negotiations, there's a chance that the buyer may be in a position to either forgive or take on some of that added repair cost. Weaker buyers may have to rely on sometimes less forgiving lender repair requirements. Number 2, buyer temperament. The white glove treatment is an idiom used to signify those who walk around a house wearing white gloves in order to detect dust. If a buyer or their offer sends signals that they'll be persnickety on inspections, realize that other buyers may be more forgiving. So it could be worth working with other buyers to avoid such headaches, even at a slightly lower price. Number 3, closing costs. Some buyers need seller-paid closing costs in order to purchase a property. That's because they may have the required income, down payment, and good credit, but still need help coming up with their closing costs. As a result, it's not uncommon for sellers to help buyers in this manner. But make sure to calculate seller-paid closing costs into any offer to better compare which one is right for you. Number 4, possession dates. Do you need an extra week or 10 days to vacate the home? If delayed possession is a major consideration, consider working with buyers who are able to be flexible. Otherwise, storage and moving costs may become more of a factor than you first realized. And number 5, fixtures and appliance negotiation. Some buyers have less need to request inclusion of certain items with their home purchase. The purchase of washers, dryers, and even unique fixtures like an antique chandelier initially excluded from the home sale can all be negotiated. Depending on the costs involved, home sellers may factor in such personal or otherwise excluded home items when buyers ask about including them with the home purchase.